They show you the reason for it. Is science perfect? No. It's just a hell of a lot better than politics. Politics solves nothing. You have to get that through your heads. I'm direct. I don't care whether you like what I say or not. That's the only way to change people. Give them an understanding of how the world works. Now, in the very early days, people really didn't know how the world worked. So they pictured some guy up there that made a man and a woman. And then he made a snake that used to walk upright here, according to the Bible. And the snake said, eat of the fruit of knowledge. And so Eve tried it, and he kicked them both out of heaven. Is this an all-loving God that makes a snake, makes a tempter, and makes hell? If you don't follow his teachings, you burn eternally. That sounds more like a psychopath than God. So the gods that man made are more like themselves. The guy that gets angry creates a flood. If that doesn't work, he creates bubonic plague. Kills half the Earth's population. Children, old folks, young folks. Then there's the religious right. If a guy commits an abortion, he's killing a life. And these people will shoot the abortionists. War kills pregnant women, babies, destroys cities. Why don't they get up and stop war? Why just the abortionists? Don't you see the limitations of the mind of people? They haven't got a mind. They're given a mind. When you're very young, you're a Christian. You don't play with that. You're a Catholic. You don't play with that Lutheran. Then they pump out a crack into your head. Who loves you more than anybody in the world? I don't know, your mommy and daddy. And you fill them up with all that crap. What's the greatest country in the world? The good old USA. God's on our side. Well, who the hell are you to tell people whose side God's on? They made everybody. He could be on it at anyone's side. So the world you live in is really very, very sick. And I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm saying it's sad that it's so. Now, if you got mad at the guy next door because he's been a pain in the ass for years, and you shoot him, you get the electric chair or life in jail. If you steal today, if you steal a watch worth $150, and it's your third offense, you might be in jail for 4 or 5 years. Well, it's cheaper to give a guy. You know what's that cost? How many watches? 500 watches and more. Give him a watch. And why put him in jail? It costs a lot. When you put a person in jail for life, you might as well feed them and educate them. Why put them in jail? I'm trying to tell you how stupid your cultures are. They have no idea of what to do. I'm going to try to give you the answers now. Some of you won't remember it, so write it down. We wish that all the world's people would learn to work together, protect the environment, and take away all the artificial boundaries that separate people. Next thing you have to do is declare the Earth's resources as a common heritage of all the world's people. Well, people got mad and say, you want to give people things for nothing, Jacque, don't you? Well, here's the answer to that. The fact that you're born in any developed country, you got the telephone, television, radio, automobiles. I don't think any of you guys worked on any of that. You got it just being born here. Does it hurt you? Of course not. Getting things for nothing is what businessmen try to do all the time. They've been doing it for years. They invest money, they get back money. For nothing. And money is a nothing thing. It doesn't represent anything. As Roxanne pointed out before, she said that if you were stranded in a boat on an island, you had a lot of money, and there was no water, no fish, and no arable land, you'd have nothing. Money has no value. And what we want to do is do away with money. Because today we've arrived at a technological stage where we can make machine guns for soldiers, submarines, aircraft carriers, different airplanes that cost $1 billion apiece. How come they only do that in war? Why don't they do that in peace? Send kids to college, take care of the poor, build hospitals for all people. Well, they don't need money. You have the knowledge to solve problems. It's cavemen that needed that sort of thing. We don't need that sort of thing. Every time we've given a problem with science, we said, can you put a man on the moon? They said, we honestly don't know. And the government said, what do you mean you don't know? Or we don't know what a man can stand, so they put him in a centrifuge and whirl him around. If he comes out at 10 gravities, that's 10 times force of gravity, you can't launch a ship too fast because it'll kill everybody. So they have to determine how fast a rocket goes off the Earth. Next thing they don't know. How do you give a guy a glass of water in a spaceship? If you pull the glass away fast, the water will remain where it's at. Then it'll form little bubbles. And they didn't know that, so they put water in a tube and you squeeze it into your mouth. You can't know everything. If you're out in space for 3 months, you lose calcium in your bones. That's why they say, I don't know. When you ask scientists, what's the cause of cancer? We don't know. So they go to work and they try to find out. The religious guy said, ye young, ye old, and you women and men, the children shall suffer for the sins of the parents. That's no answer. The children shall suffer for the sins of the parents. If that was so, would God be just? Why pick it on poor kids? They didn't do anything. And sometimes you have a son or a daughter, 7 years old, and they're killed. And minister says, isn't that wonderful? God gave you that kid for 7 years. Isn't that wonderful? Well, how nice. The thing is, to make it impossible for automobiles to hit each other, put proximity gadgets on them. If you don't know what that means, today you can drive the car up to the garage and press a button and the door opens. That's a proximity device. You walk over to an area and the lights go on. That's proximity. You could have put that on cars in 1927, so they couldn't hit each other. No politician ever came up with anything. Now here's the great George Washington, the first president of the United States, had 300 slaves. Do you know that? George Washington, great man, father of our country. He was a horse's ass. Like all the other presidents. Truman was a hat salesman. He had a hat store. I don't know if you know that. He was a hat salesman. And Oppenheimer went to visit him and Einstein. And they said, look, now that we got the atom bomb, why don't you drop it offshore, about 30 miles away from Japan, and say, we have a terrible weapon, we'd rather not use it, we want you to see what we can do, so you better surrender. Now, Truman kicked them both out and says, I don't want those guys around me. And he dropped it on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You think the Japanese forgot about that? You think any war brings a mindset that looks for peace? No, it doesn't. It builds hatred, cumulative hatred. And people say to me, why are these, this is their language, not mine, why are these goddamn North Koreans working on weapons? Why is China got all these soldiers marching around? Why is China working on rockets? There's a newspaper in England called The Telegraph. And about 4 years ago, they printed a headline which said, U.S. intends to bomb 7 countries, nuclear bomb, sneak attack on 7 countries. It names China, North Korea, that's why they're building bombs. How many of you knew that? Show of hands. Write to the Telegraph in London. They'll send you a copy of it. Don't take my word for anything. How many of you know of memory metals? About 10 hands. There are metals today that remember. They now design a suture material that doctors use to sew you up with a memory. The doctor ties a surgical knot and he straightens it out. And he cuts the skin and he sticks it through, and the heat of the body causes to tie a surgical knot. How many of you knew about that? Well, there are fantastic things. These memory metals today only remember one thing. But if you cut metal about that long and gave it one memory, then cut other metals and gave it different, and welded them all together, you can produce 5,000, 10,000 memories in one strip. And if you had the memory metal, wire, and you bent it in the form of Jesus Christ, straighten it out, put it on the table, and heat the bottom of the table, it'll go back to Jesus Christ. You can build a phone back. People don't know what's happening in technology. They say there's too many machines in the world today. Well, if I say, I'm coming tomorrow, pick up your washing machine, your oven, your refrigerator. Oh, no, you're not. It's machines that free us from things. Now, some machines take your job away, so people get angry at machines. It isn't the machines you should get angry at. It's the misuse and abuse of technology. If we had a factory in a Venus project, and a new machine came in that did the work of 1,000 people, we'd call them all together and say, instead of working 8 hours a day, you now work 4 hours a day. And instead of getting a week off here, you get 6 weeks off. That's what machines can do, but they don't do that. They downsize. They get rid of you. I'm trying to tell you something, that your country doesn't give a damn about you. They would not outsource to China if they cared. You'd be on the job. They wouldn't sell cigarettes. Cigarettes always, don't get me updated, they always produce cancer. 15 or 20 years later, you'll have cancer of the lung or cancer or heart disease. Why do governments permit that? Because they get a piece of the action, taxation on cigarettes. Same with liquor. Drunk driving kills thousands of people every year. But you can buy cigarettes, especially in this country. In America, they're beginning to decrease the amount of cigarettes available. And they put a warning on it. This may kill you. Now, out here, I haven't seen too much of that yet, but it won't be long. You see, we will never say to people, say no to tobacco or say no to drugs. We're going to show motion pictures of a guy dying who's been smoking for 20 years. We show how he dies and chokes, can't breathe, lung cancer. We show people sitting up, withering away in bed. We show real movies. That's the way you get rid of cigarettes. You don't say no to tobacco, say no to drugs. Some asshole president's wife, Ronald Reagan, said say no to drugs. Well, how nice. These are all stupid people out there. We can name airports after Ronald Reagan. He was an asshole. He knew nothing. All of the presidents, including Eisenhower, he warned the American people against the military-industrial complex, but apparently didn't fill it out enough. So right now, they have that. We have air bases all over the world, America. We have submarines anchored all over the ocean. We have detectors in the ocean, detect positions of all potential enemy submarines. If we use that kind of knowledge that we use in technology, and took all the soldiers and taught them to become problem solvers, how to bridge the difference between nations, how to increase agricultural yield, how to bring harmony amongst people. All people need the same thing: clean air, clean water, relevant education, good, clean agriculture, where you don't spray poisons on plants. You don't engineer plants, food, to grow faster. If you do that, you make the cell multiplication faster. They want to breed chickens fast. They're going to have to wait 3 or 4 months for the chicken to grow up. Pump it. And if you pump it, the cells multiply faster. And they wonder why cancer's on the increase. A lot of doctors say, well, we're trying to find the cause of cancer. That's another stupid thought. Like it's trying to find the cause of a criminal. Is it one thing or many interacting variables? My kid came to me in some days, Daddy, what makes an airplane fly? Is it the propeller? I said, if the engine doesn't turn it, oh, is it the engine? No, if you don't have fuel in that engine, it won't turn. Oh, is it the fuel? No, if you don't have oxygen, the fuel wouldn't come up. Then what is it? Many interacting variables. There's no cause of cancer. There are many interacting variables. Doctors, a lot of them, I've been to a lot of medical lectures. This doctor was lecturing a group of medical students. He said, we will never be able to graft an arm onto a person. The proper way to say that is I can't conceive of how we might be able to do that. That's all. Do you think we'll ever build machines that will fly 2, 3, 4, 5,000 miles an hour? I don't know. It's not my field. You think we'll ever get to Mars? I don't know. I know nothing about rockets. I don't even know how to transport people there. Just say I don't know. But there's a lot of people walking around saying, you won't see that in 1,000 years. Like they've worked all their life on it and studied it. They're just yakking away. And that comes from giving